got that.
What?
Do they know I'm black?
Should they?
You might wanna,
Mom and Dad, my black boyfriend will be coming up this weekend. I just don't want you to be shocked that he's a black man.
I ain't never seen you like this before, bruh. Meeting families, taking road trips. Don't come back all bougie, man. Come back, get your damn pants up to your damn stomach.
So you guys coming up from the city?
Yeah, we're just heading up for the weekend.
Can I see your license, please?
He wasn't driving.
I didn't ask who was driving. I asked to see his ID.
Call me Dean and you're hungry, my man.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? We hired Georgina and Walter to help care for my parents. When they died, I couldn't bear to let them go. Do you smoke in front of my daughter?
I'm gonna quit.
She'd take care of that for you.
How?
Hypnosis.
I'm good, actually.
Are you ready for this?
How bad can it be?
So look, I go do my research. Apparently, a whole bunch of brothers been missing in this suburb. But it's cool. Bro, how you not scared of this, man?
I saw when there was a scene in the movie where one of the characters goes to and speaks to the cops, and he speaks to an officer named Latoya Peele. Is that someone of significance? Yeah, I paid attention. I saw that.
You saw that? I know you. Diploma on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. No, it's not somebody that I know, but I snuck my name in.
Oh, okay. I was curious.
Andre is also named Andre Hayworth in the movie. My middle name is Hallworth. So a lot of it, this is one of the ways a film like this is autobiographical. Is every little piece of your life you're putting in there somewhere.
Dope.
I wanted to ask you about the how, and doing the reading that was sent to us, how comedy and horror sort of draw from the same well, and how you were able to pull that together. Because we all laughed at some of the scenes, especially with the TSA guy. And then there were those moments where, what was it? I think, gosh, it was like you saw the little kid running in the house, or like a little kid, and the music instantly cued in, and everybody went, oh!
That was Georgina.
Yeah. So just talk about how those two actually work very, very well together.
They are. They're very close. And the best horror moments are usually followed or preceded with some kind of nervous giggling. Certainly, that moment you're talking about, I always hear the music sting hits, and everyone goes, oh! Everyone jumps, and then you hear. You stupid. No, you jumped.
Yeah.
You hear that kind of conversation. So it's already a very similar state. But on top of that, I think that the important thing for me is making the world feel as real as possible. With the Rod character, it's important that he's not coming in. He's not launching jokes at us. That's how we would get to Parody Town, or like. It would become, it would resemble more of a scary movie than a actual scary movie like this. So with Rod, the way I relied on that character was as a release valve from all the tension, and to give somebody that would give us relief, not only because it's a safe space when Rod is there, but we do have somebody who's being real. Like, he's saying what we wish somebody would say in a horror movie. And that reality, that's kind of what I think gets the laughs. It's like, this is, and it's even more nerve-wracking because it's like, oh snap, this takes place in the real world where people, they are looking out. They are being perceptive, and it's still like they're trying to figure out, and they're so close. So I would say, like, reality, for me, with both horror and comedy, reality needs to be consistent and real.
I got a quick question for you. Loud Genius, we cover a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
Little Rel is one of like a hidden jewel in comedy. Why Little Rel for a film such as this? I mean, because on the comedy scene he's done a lot, but on the movie scene he's fairly new.
Well, he is somebody that he feels very familial to a lot of people. I feel like he's got that feeling where it's like, I know this dude. This is my cousin, this is my brother, this is my best friend. So that was very important. He also, as you said, he's an amazing comedian. He's a great improviser. You know, even as a stand-up, many times I could be like, Rel, you got to say this line in the way that makes most sense to you. Like, give me several reads, and he would find these new hilarious ways to do it. Most importantly, when it all came down to it, that's a situation where that's the guy I was like picturing when I was writing it. And when I realized, it's like, oh, Lil Rel, like that is Rod. Like you can't take that away. So it was all three of those things. But damn, what perfect casting, man. I'm so happy I got him.
Can you talk about casting? Because everything was so perfect. And it kind of like, if you watch ATL, if you watch Atlanta, it kind of like the character Darius kind of carried over from there, so you already had a certain view of his character. Mm-hmm. So when he got abducted, it's kind of like Atlanta 2. So like, did you ever think about like this person, like, you know, Georgina, yeah. Like, this person would be perfect for this. Like, what was your mindset casting this movie?
It was every character got its own was its own adventure figuring it out. Now Lakeith, Atlanta hadn't come out when we made this movie. I cast Lakeith from his work at Short Term 12, Selma, Compton, you know, and he has that another quality where it's like I don't know who that is, but I like that guy. I like that guy, right. And he is so innately cool that I thought, like, maybe if I can get him in here and have him the flip be like the least cool, the least like soulful brother that we've ever seen, that it would be sort of jarring. But every character had their own like requirements for me to tell the story. You know, with Rose, with Allison Williams, I needed that relationship to be something that we want to work, which is very difficult, especially with an interracial relationship where it's like, you know, but there's people on both sides that don't want to see that work. Mm-hmm. So, making that relationship work, you know, I had to have somebody that fit this mold of like, you know what? Yes, she's undeniably Caucasian, but she's waking up, and she's funny, and she's intelligent, and she's kind of a badass with that cop. Like, you know what I mean? She's all right. Every character had their own thing I was looking for.
Well, first off, congratulations on getting 100% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Thank you.
That's huge. One of the things I've been seeing on our site, critiques, is that people feel like the success of the film is based on race baiting, especially given the timeliness of it. Mm-hmm. How do you feel when people say things like that, or do you agree with that?
I think, they're fair to say that. I think people who have criticized this film tend to be the people who haven't seen it yet. I think the reason it's resonating is because where's this movie been then? It hasn't, no one has given any kind of concept like this a real chance in a long time. And look, we get tired of the same old thing.
Agreed.
I think the real thing that's popping off about this movie is that it feels like this is a missing piece. We missed this. This movie should have been made 40 years ago in some ways. This is the plot of Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, which, by the way, you could do today and not change a word.
Right.
So so I don't know. You know, I think it's a fair opinion, but I think it's more because we missed this piece of the puzzle.
What was it like crafting this film for you? Because I mean, it's your directorial debut. What was that process like? What did you learn from it that was sort of unexpected? And also, how did your work on Keanu what did you learn from that you brought to Get Out?
I learned a lot from the director of Key and Peele and Keanu, this guy Peter Atencio. But you know, I learned directing is very hardest thing I've ever had to do. And it was kind of a different process writing the movie as it was directing and bringing all that together. Ultimately, I learned that this idea that I thought never would get made, the freedom that I was able to give myself by saying, I'm not even going to try and be ambitious with this. This is for me and me only. That gave me a freedom that allowed me to get to something that has resonated enough to get this current Rotten Tomatoes of 100. So now I feel like, oh my God, I'm right. What I like is universal, even if it's the most like at left field sort of idea on paper from Hollywood. Make a horror movie about race? No, that's not gonna happen. But if you're true to yourself, people feel that when you're watching. People know this. He's doing him right now, and I recognize it. Our souls are the same in a way, and like so if you do justice to your emotion and your soul, you know, that's where like the commonality in all of us comes up. And like I love seeing this I love seeing a black crowd, but I love seeing a mixed crowd too, because everyone's on the same ride here. It transcends our differences. That's a surprise to me.
Well, with a film such like this, you know, I mean, obviously everything that's going on in the world today, Mike kind of touched on it, just with social justice and freedom and Black Lives Matter, you know, you address an issue. Now, how does this film help start the healing process of what you address or take a step forward?
Well, and first of all, it acknowledges issues that have gone unacknowledged. So I think in that, you know, I believe we need to be discussing these things. I believe we need to have these conversations. I also believe that the way we talk about race is tiring to a lot of people, and often feels like that, you know, these discussions are supposed to be constructive can fall apart because of our egos and because of people getting defensive, and you know some people don't want to be considered racist that they can't look within themselves. So I think, you know, content like this that is entertaining first and foremost, I think that's the Trojan horse. We can come in, we can watch, we can have a good time, scream, yell, laugh, get scared, and then afterward, you have to acknowledge what happened to you when you were in there. So at that point, I feel like I hope it promotes constructive conversation where we were all on the same page watching that movie. So we can all agree that movie rings true. Now it's like if you date a white guy, you can be like, look, honey, I'm not trying to go to your house, get into a get out situation.
Thanks, Jordan.
So that in itself is like, I think that's in just some small way, hopefully it's beginning to heal the conversation, because it's putting another touchstone where you can refer to it. Remember that dude in Get Out? Yeah. That's what you're doing right now. You know, we can have that conversation.
I was going to say, I love the fact that, and there was a line where I can't remember, it was one of the neighbors that said, oh, black is sort of
in fashion.
Yeah, it's in fashion. And I was like, to me, it was one of those lines that it was like, but black has always been in fashion. And I just thought it was so interesting that there was something about black people that they wanted for themselves, whether it be the mandingo in the bed, or whether it be your creative eye, or whether it be your ability to run fast. And it was just, to me, I'm like, okay, this is Black History Month. So it was just, that to me I thought was so cool that we're in this time, you're making that statement, and we're seeing this in this film, even though it's a horror film, you know, so. And that was,
you know, so that was a big turn in realizing, you know, there's a while I thought this movie was about a slightly more traditional view of slavery. And I thought it was the movie that it looks like I'm setting up. They're brainwashing people and launching them off. The realization that, oh my goodness, you know what? This is different. This is a new, twisted, fucked up form of slavery.
It is.
And to kind of relate, you know, part of what I wanted to do here was show, look, these little microaggressions, or whatever you want to call them, they are they are proof and clues that we're not past racism. And I wanted to take those and relate this to this really, obviously like horror version of slavery, so that people could see the connection and see this is all one thing. Next time somebody says it's post-race world, they'll point, well, look, even this little interaction right here, that's proof that it's not.
Or even the guy the older gentleman who was saying, well, let me see you swing. Like
let me see you
Tiger was just like, you want to see me swing? Okay. It's they're kicking the tires, right? They're checking the merchandise in all their own way. They're like, and remember he says, I can't quite swing the hips like I used to. So let's see. I love Tiger. That's why he wants a black body. The best golfer he's ever seen is black. So through whether it's sports, whether it's like the coolness of black culture and music, or I know even the guy at the end of the movie, he says, well, race has nothing to do with me. It's your eye, man. Even that, where he doesn't protest too much, I've always maintained that he does believe if he's a black photographer, he'll get more attention than when he tried before, which is so it all comes to that thing we were talking about earlier, where it's like they want us for the parts they want us for, but not the human beings that we are. They don't want the soul. They want the other shit that we can contribute.
Were you strategic on?
We need to wrap it up.
Okay.
One last question.
One last question.
Were you strategic in having their estate look like a plantation? And was the final scene where they come to play bingo and everything? Were you trying to like recreate the old picnics back in the day? How you had a party and we're gonna pick a nigga right then and take him home? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the second part, definitely. Like the whole idea was, oh snap, he in an auction right now. The house, I actually like, there were other more antebellum houses that we could have gone. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go that on the nose. I wanted it to be a property and have this estate that felt isolated and conjured that feeling of slavery. Like they can just murder us here and no one